my biggest takeaway, Deshaun, was that this was a perfect example of what happens when you have a 5-out offense like Alabama going up against a team that's going to play Jacob Toppin and Isaiah Jackson and Olivier Sarr at the exact same time in Kentucky. It was like modern basketball against throwback basketball, and Kentucky does not have the bodies to be able to play the throwback style that they want to play.
I can agree with you a little bit in that sense with when it comes to like modern basketball versus throwback basketball. Alabama, they run, they push the ball as fast as they can. If they can get a basket early, they get it. If not, this is a team that just shoots threes and layups. They're not doing in between basketball. They do a good job of like sticking to their game plan. So when you play against a team like Kentucky where you have these bigs that they have, they're not the most versatile bigs. So it's like it plays into Alabama's hands because these guys like Olivier Sarr and Jackson, Jackson's not a bad defender and he's very active, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you're great on the perimeter as far as sliding your feet with guards or guard-like players. You know, Alabama has a ton of guys that can play numerous spots. It makes them a very dangerous team. I mean, Bruner is a big, but at the same time, he's more like he could play some wing from time to time too. He's quick enough to. I wouldn't go along to call him a 3, but he's quick enough on his feet too, and he stretches the floor as well, like the rest of the guys, like Petty and the rest of their team. So it makes it difficult when you don't have those matchups, regardless if it's small ball or you got these guys playing spaced out offense. It's just a matter of if you can defend it or not. And obviously, Kentucky can't. They couldn't at all. They didn't show they could tonight.
Yeah, and it's not just on the defensive end of the floor. That was probably the biggest issue that they had tonight.
Yeah.
On the offensive end, like there's no space in the paint, right? And that when you have guys like a Karl Anthony Towns, like that doesn't really matter how much space you have because he's just so much better than everybody else. When you have someone like DeMarcus Cousins, they can overpower people even if you have a team that doesn't really shoot all that well from three. You know a little bit about that 2010 Kentucky team, don't you?
Yeah. Great team.
Just a little bit about it. Well,
probably one of the best teams ever to play in college, but go ahead.
But, I mean, Olivier Sarr, like, he ain't Karl Anthony Towns and he ain't DeMarcus Cousins. And And when you are not able to completely dominate those matchups in the post, if you want to play big and you cannot dominate every matchup against every team, against every opponent in the paint, you're not going to be that successful playing big. The problem is, entering this game, Kentucky was shooting 46% from three in the SEC, which was leading the conference in three-point shooting. Okay. And they shot 4 for 18 tonight. And I think that this was them just kind of regressing to the mean a little bit. And when they're not going to make shots and they're not going to be able to score in the paint, like there's just where are you getting your offense from?
Yeah, that's true. I like to when I was watching this game, it kind of felt obviously their offense wasn't, as far as their shooting at least, wasn't too tailored tonight. It wasn't pretty at all. I felt like they didn't look focused. Like I saw activeness, but I saw like activeness without a purpose. Like guys are over dribbling, guys. And I don't know. It just didn't look as smooth as it did when I watched them play Florida. And I guess jump shots help. You making shots definitely does help. Gives you a little bit more confidence. But I didn't see any lock-in moments in the game where they could like stop what Alabama was doing and also impose, like they didn't impose any type of will in the game. They didn't stop Alabama from doing anything. They didn't do anything well themselves offensively, let alone just the shooting. So you turn the ball over. They had 15 turnovers with 14 minutes left in the second half. Like you're not winning games when they revert back to the old things that they were doing. And then your energy is okay, but your lack of focus, it just showed tonight. Like it wasn't a good showing for them.
Yeah, Jack just hopped in the chat and he asked us to talk about Michigan, and we'll get there. Before we do, though, I just want to really quick talk a little bit about Alabama and kind of where they rate for you, Deshaun. Like, how do you view this team? Are they legit? They've kind of steamrolled everybody in the SEC that is really worth paying attention to at this point. So where do you stand on them? What kind of run can they make in the tournament? Like, is this are they legit? Are they a Final Four contender? Are they a Final Four threat? What do you think?
And if they're healthy, after we just saw two guys like kind of get banged up today. If they're healthy, they're definitely the beer got me. If they're healthy, yeah, exactly. Every time happens every time. No, but if Alabama's a healthy team, they can definitely go. They have the potential to go to a Final Four. Like they're a very good team. Their style of play is something you can't necessarily prep for too well. Like it's not like you can just, we would have teams we would play against when I played for Coach Beeline, and it was just you can't prep for Beeline's offense in a quick turnaround game. Like it's just so much stuff. So like our team would have the advantage. You can't prep for a team like this in a quick turnaround. Like you can run as fast as you can, try to emulate it as best you can, but it's not the same as actually having those five guys out there that can space the court and knock down shots and the pace that they play at and just how they use ball screens. They do a really good job, honestly. I'm watching this team. I can see them making a big run just because of the versatility that they have. And I mean, they're very well coached. You can say they don't take shots they don't need. They got two or three dudes sometimes that can make really big plays. Like Shackelford he had a couple like dope finishes or left hand and just strong finishes and made some really big plays as they were like stretching the lead. That they got some guys that can do some very special things for their team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that they're not quite at the same level in my mind as the very best teams in the country.
No. But there's only like three of them. So somebody's going to sneak into those spots like sooner or later.
Yeah, we'll talk about Michigan in a second, but just the last point that I want to make is I think that they're as dangerous as anyone in college basketball because of what they can be when their offense gets rolling, when their threes are going down and they're getting up and down the floor and they're energized defensively and Herb Jones is making plays and John Petty is at his very best. And we're seeing Jaden Shackelford be that kind of like, shot fake, one dribble, draw the defender and kick it out to someone. And when we're seeing Josh Primo make shots, when Jordan Bruner is actually on the floor and healthy and playing well, like they're dangerous. They're really, really dangerous. And when you live, the saying is when you live by the three, you die by the three. So I think it's a little bit of it's a high risk, high reward, kind of embracing the variant style of play. But when you can guard the way that they can guard, like they can stop, they're a very, very good team. And I'll take the L on them right here. This is me taking the L on Alabama. I did not think that they were going to be as good as they were this season, and they are. So shout out to them. Shout out to Nate Oates. That's a really good basketball team. All right.
You can take your small L, but I will give you props about Bruner. You were right about him. That was he's a talented. Right? He can play. Like I was very impressed. Sucks that he had his I don't know if it was an ankle or a knee or whatever the case may be with his leg.
I mean, we talked about it last week, man. The guy's got old knees.
Yes, exactly. But you were definitely, right. But I will give you your credit. You were definitely right about it.
It's the first time all year you give him credit.
I can't have you out here. Can't have you out here beating yourself up.